Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. My name is Justin. I am your host, and I'm here with Sam from Void Vator. How you doing, man?
Woo! Good brother, how you feeling?
Doing good, doing good. So, I asked you guys on the podcast because I truly believe that your band is definitely bringing back the old school with this modern touch, and with bands like Black Rainbow, Mothership, I believe it's pronounced Bombus, and Bonehawk, like bands like that. You guys
Hmm.
all have this energy about you, and I can't explain it. And I think that's like really what intrigued me to get you guys on the show. Is can you explain like what how does it feel uh, to just like get on stage and totally have this like crazy ass energy about you guys, like, and this is including all those bands too, like, but since you're in this realm of this type of metal and rock and stuff, how would you describe this energy? What do you feel?
Well, I think that's what happens when you surrender yourself to the rock and you realize that it's bigger than yourself.
Yes.
Uh, we're living it, man. So that's kind of like just kind of takes over, like no fake. Big love to the Mothership boys. We love Kelly, Kyle, and Sludge and Judge. Their dad, Big John's, always helped us out when we're in Dallas too. So yeah, dude, it's just we're part of something greater than just Void Vator or Ripple Music or whatever. It's a worldwide. I don't know. Mothership would say it's more than worldwide. It's intergalactic, but it's so much bigger than any of us. And I think I've just wanted to do this for so long that like I don't know. It's just kind of like just is what it is for me. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
if you're about it, then you're about it, and there's no faking it, and that authenticity is kind of the what comes across to people that is viable and something that's worth checking out.
definitely. And I feel that a lot of bands are out there, for the money aspect, which is everybody's intention as well. You
That's
want to make a living,
yeah.
but I think you described it best. It's not about that. It's a way of life. And damn.
All the money and the babes, that'll all come for
Oh
sure,
yeah.
but you got to have the jams in first. You know what I mean? You gotta
Exactly.
you gotta do the damn thing.
Yeah, you have to have that energy that makes people want to come back and or want to listen more. So you
Yes.
guys definitely do. How did you guys meet? You're the bass player, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you
Um,
guys meet?
Lucas and Eric met through a mutual friend. I think Eric was dating a sister of, I think he was the original bass player or the drummer, and was like, "Hey, I know," to Lucas, because that was the mutual friend, was this brother of the chick that Eric was dating. "I know this guitar player is really good. You guys want to jam?" Because Lucas is originally from Uruguay
Oh wow.
and Eric from Detroit. I'm the only one that's from LA, and at the time, uh, yeah, Lucas was looking for a band and Eric was looking for a band, and so they had a mutual friend that put them together. Lucas moved here from Uruguay with Herman, who is the original drummer for Void Vator, and he played in a band with Lucas back home in Uruguay, and so they kind of came up together to do that. Didn't work out, so they started this new band. They had another bass player before me, and then I knew Eric. Eric's the one that actually reached out to me to see if I wanted to be in Void Vator. I've known Eric before Void Vator, probably for like 2-3 years, just because he played in Gypsy Hawk and I was in a band from LA called Legal Tender, and we used to play some shows together. And I just knew of Gypsy Hawk because they were cool at the time, and I was like heshing and skating, and that Resistance and Revelry album has a song called Overloaded, and I was all about that. That was like my bowl skating song at the time. So when Kluber reached out at first, I think we were at the Viper Room and we were all hammered, and he's like, "I need a bass player for my band," and I was like, I had something else going on, and like literally like a year to the day from when that happened, he like circled back, and I didn't have anything going on. Was like, "We still need a bass player," and then their bass player left, and they had a show on like a Wednesday at some shitty bar in the Valley. Uh, well, shitty in the sense that we love it. So
Yeah, those are the
so I
best
went and
ones.
checked them out, and it was just them three. It was just Eric on bass, and then Lucas and Herman. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I needed somebody to play with because I wasn't doing anything. And within like a week or two, uh, I think I'd played the Viper. I learned the songs pretty quick. Everything from that Dehumanized record or EP. And we played like 2 shows pretty quick. And then, so that's how I met Lucas and Herman, like just in the right at the show. Like I knew Eric a little bit beforehand, but I didn't know them. I'd seen Lucas at the Whiskey. We used to do this like not open metal jam, this like metal rock jam where like, there's this house band of people from like Chuck Wright from Quiet Riot, and then you got like Mitch Perry from who did he play with? Like Lita Ford and Edgar Winter, and then like all of a sudden like Kenny Arnov is there.
Wow.
Like every once in a while there'd be like these crazy players. So when you get asked, you're like, yeah.
Duh.
Yes. You play like 2 or 3 songs, and sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's not. I remember this is pretty funny. I remember being on stage at the Whiskey when they announced back in 2016 that Trump got elected, and then having to play Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen afterwards, and being like, it's just so weird, dude.
Yeah.
Like, so fucking weird. But that's just like what it is to be a musician, man. It's just like you get into these situations. So.
And it's kind of like you have to do what you got to do to basically, grow your career too as well.
Well, you just, you already signed up for the gig. What are you going to bail now? It's like, no, but so that's where I used to see his face, because he was like this tall, long-haired, like, statuesque face, just handsome-ass dude, like shredding. And it was like, you're too pretty to shred. What's up with this? So, and now we're in a band together, and I'm the second prettiest guy in the band, so I'll take it.
That's awesome, man. That's a really good story on how you guys met too. You said Gypsy Tinder, right?
Gypsy Hawk was Eric's
or
band.
Gypsy Hawk, yeah.
I played in a like a thrash band called Legal Tender that has now everybody's gone on to do like really crazy things. The drummer Adrian, he plays in Ex Mortis.
Wow.
Jonah, the lead singer, guitar player, he plays in the Offspring now, and Frankie, the other guitar player, he plays with Rat and David Lee Roth. So
see, I've always said I was born in the wrong part of California. I've been a musician for so long, and I've never the only thing I've got to do, and I've said it a couple times on the podcast, is I got to tour with A Plea for Purging when they were slowly getting bigger.
Right on.
But other than that, I mean, you get to meet all these crazy people. It's
well,
awesome.
It all started in a garage, though, dude. It's not like,
True.
we all
it's not
played,
like you walked out and there it was.
We all played like Disposable Heroes in a garage together, and then that band broke up, and then everybody like needed something to do. So
yeah.
If anything, I've got the weakest gig. I'm the one that's in Void Vator and War Cloud, and they're, on tour in Europe and shit. So we're all still cool. I just saw Adrian last weekend, and I talk to Frank and Jonah every once in a while. It's all good. Everybody's cool.
That's awesome. I think your band, did you play at Chain Reaction at all?
Not Chain Reaction, but we used to play down in
like Anaheim area and Orange County. Okay.
Yeah. Malone's and fucking there were some veterans like Vets Halls down there, and like the Doll Hut and Juke Joint and
nice.
Shit like that.
Nice. Okay. I for some reason that name, when you said it, it sounded familiar. I have like a box full of every show I've been to. Like well, maybe the flyer.
We did. I don't know.
And I for some reason it just sounds familiar. I mean, I
feel like we definitely talked to those dudes a lot as far as like trying to schedule a show, and then I don't know. Yeah. This was all, this was like 2013 realistically is when this band was like at the height. So, or the height of our,
2013 was an interesting year.
It was a wild year, man. There's a lot of musical. I don't know. That was a hell of a year. You're right. if it was up, especially down in Southern California, Los Angeles, sounds like it was happening everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you, I mean, what I'll do is I'll just ask you personally, like what inspired you to even pick up like a bass? Like, have you only been strictly a bass player?
No, I started playing bass when I was 15. Mm-hmm. I started playing guitar when I was 10 and just wanted to be Johnny Ramone more than anything on planet Earth. And then got like getting close to high school, like I'd always played basketball growing up, and those were kind of the two things that it was like, be Johnny Ramone or be Pete Maravich. And so I wanted to be a basketball. I just had I thought I wanted to be like the dude on the varsity team with like the chick and like that whole song and dance. You know what I mean? Just because that, that's what you always think you want. Yeah. And then I didn't make the basketball team because the coach was friends with some dude's dad, and I was like, that shit's whack.
Yep.
So naturally, I just got pissed and started listening to metal, which is, I think that's kind of how it goes for most people.
Yep.
But I had friends that were older than me that were getting into metal. I remember being shown like the Philadelphia Lamb of God DVD and being like, this is just the craziest shit. And then hearing like Seek and Destroy for the first time by like a band of like kids that were like maybe a couple years older than me and being like, what is this? And then the rabbit hole of like Kill 'Em All and Cliff 'Em All started. And so I had friends that were starting bands and none of them had bass players. They all had guitar players, and my brother had a bass. My brother is 2 years younger than me, and he was the kid that like started on drums, switched to bass, started on bass, fucking switched to something else. Now he's by the end of high school, he was like, the drum major in the marching band playing like,
nice.
And he's a really talented like baritone euphonium player. But he's just, he just wanted to like figure out what he was into. So he had this like little Squire bass, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I'll give it a shot. And from the beginning, I started playing with my fingers. I didn't even try to play it with a pick, just because all my favorite players use their fingers.
Yeah.
Geddy and John Paul Jones and Cliff, and even like my favorite bass player ever is Larry Graham from Sly and the Family Stone. And so he, if he's going to use a pick, it's usually his thumb. And I'm not like, you use a pick, you got to be able to do it all, because Duff McKagan's one of my favorites, Doug Pinnick's one of my favorites, Matt Freeman from Rancid's one of my favorites, so.
Oh, yeah.
But I just all my favorite players did it with their fingers, especially most of the shit we were playing was like Sabbath, Zeppelin kind of sounding shit. So Geezer and John Paul Jones are just using their fingers. I remember like not even being able to do that bass fill in Good Times, Bad Times.
Yeah.
Literally just like it'd get to that part and I would just like slide up and slide down the neck because I just couldn't do it, And then obviously I've come a little bit further since then. But that's, that's how it started, was somebody needed a bass player, and now here we are. That's how nice. I feel like that's how most of my gigs have come about is, hey, I hear Sam plays bass and I'm not like a motherfucker of a person, at least try not to be. So I think there's lots of dudes that are way better than me for sure, but sometimes I'll get a call or someone will just reach out, and I think that has something to do with it, which I kind of pride myself on,
Yeah, definitely. Personality definitely shapes the musician as well.
There's something going on over here, that's for sure. I'm aware of it.
You don't.
I hear about it a lot.
Yeah, you don't give off that dick vibe. None of you guys do. I watched a couple videos on YouTube and stuff like that, and you guys just don't give off that vibe at all. But back to like the bass thing. I feel like bass players and drummers, they both get the shit end of the stick of a band. They're not the guitarist, or they're not the lead vocalist. But isn't it funny that every band needs a bassist or a drummer? They're always looking.
Yeah. Since I was 15 years old, I feel like I've been like consistently looking for a drummer. So those are the real like holy grails. If you got one, hold on to them.
Definitely.
But yeah, you're right. It just, everything sounds different with no bottom end or some sort of pulse. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
That's kind of what it is, right? Is like it gives the music a pulse of sort. It gives it like a life force.
Yeah, and it's like you have to have that low end, because to me it's like it's too flat. It's way too flat. And there's bands out there that don't have bass players, and then what they do is they tune down their guitars until it's just like that. It's like and then it's just nothing but static. But that's so Void Vator, for the people that are listening and people that are watching, if you guys don't know who the band is, describe what your sound is.
Riffs, hooks, and leads. It's like 80s shred with like some 90s melody or riff, you know what I mean? Like Soundgarden meets Megadeth, or I don't know, there's some Pantera in there. There's definitely some Metallica. Foo Fighters gets brought up a little bit. I don't know. Somebody online said that we sounded like early Anthrax this week, but then someone also said we sound like John Bush era Anthrax, which is like, I'll take it all, man.
Yeah,
I actually got to play with Neil Turbin. That's the original dude from Anthrax on Fistful of Steel or Fistful of Metal. I got to play with him and Michelangelo Badio a couple of times, which is kind of
Nice.
cool.
Nice.
Uh,
That gives
and do like Death Riders and shit, which was pretty rad.
See, that's awesome. That gives you those memories that last a lifetime too. So
well, you know, that's like if you told me that when I was 15, I would have been like, "You're full of shit." There's no way. As I'm like, you know, chugging a Rolling Rock because I think it's, you know, like I've had 3 of them. I'm so wasted. You know, I wouldn't have believed you. I wouldn't have believed you. Nah, man. So yeah, that's.
So I agree. You know, the Anthrax thing, that's interesting. That's why I was kind of like, whoa, like Anthrax. I didn't really think about that because it's been a while since I've got a chance to listen to Anthrax. Everybody that knows me knows I can't stand the Foo Fighters. It has nothing to do with Dave Grohl or the guys in the band.
That's fair.
For me, I don't know what it is. Their earlier stuff, first album, fucking perfect, great. Everything after that, I just kind of washed my hands. But so for me, I don't think you guys sound like, you know, Foo Fighters. I think
right on. I was just throwing out, you know.
Yeah, no, you're good, especially if people are saying that, you know, that's what you guys like, that you remind them of. If that's what they're into and you remind them of that, you're doing something right. You know what I mean? So
lately it's been more bands in the like Armored Saint shit like that kind of vein, you know.
Yeah.
Which is cool. This new record is definitely heavier, and I think we finally found like what the Void Vator sound is. You know what I mean? Because that first EP is pretty polished, is pretty like radio rock, or just like a more polished sound, and then Stranded is definitely a little more raw and all over the place, just because we kind of were like, we're just gonna write what we want to write, and that's the first one that I'm on. So I'm hyped for you guys to hear this next one, Great Fear Rising.
Yeah, I'm definitely I can't wait for that. That's definitely going to be one of probably my favorite albums, and it's 2021 when it comes out, correct?
It's supposed to be April, man, and if somebody tries to tell us later than April, I don't know, I might throw a fit. And I know you were saying I'm not much of a dick, but if it gets pushed past April, I might have to turn into a dick.
Well, hey, that happens. It's like
we just want it out. I mean, but it's probably a good thing, because like it would have been out already. But part of it is like it takes a long time to get your artwork set up and the graphic layout for the vinyl and make sure that everything is credited right. And so that's what we've been doing right now, is like our buddy Ryan Bartlett is doing all the graphic design for the vinyl, and little shit on like the mastering. Like we noticed, like we said everything was cool, and then this week Lucas was like, wait, there's no fade in on this. So then you got to like take all, because each format's got a different like tape's got a different one, vinyl's got a different one, CD's got a different one, MP3 for Spotify's got a different one, and I think even Apple Music probably has like a different one. Like I don't know, it's just, you know, it just takes time, man. So it's a lot of work, and not all of it is up to us, which is a good thing, because if we were in charge, it'd probably be done shitty and it'd be out already. You know what I mean? So,
and that's the thing, though. The musician, that's why you give your material to producers and, you know, people that master and stuff like that. That way they take their time and just, you know, make it.
Well, it's cool to get your friends involved too. This record specifically, we recorded with Mike from Devil Driver, and Lucas knows him because he filled in for him on an Ozfest in Mexico City, because Mike's brother was getting married. Yeah, it totally. Void Vator's got a lot of like really cool like little shit. Oh, dude, he said it was. You can go on like Getty Images and see images and like pictures of Lucas like hair down with with his fucking Explorer or whatever, or his V or whatever he's using, and there's just people everywhere. They played. Well, there's some fucking dope ass. I'm blanking on the name. Some dope ass like football stadium out there that's like older than dirt. Like it's, and they played there. They played in like this crazy historic like soccer football stadium.
That's
so we recorded with Mike. We did guitars and vocals and bass with Mike, and then drums were done in Hermosa Beach at Screaming Leopard Studios, which we've done most of the drum tracks at this studio. And this studio is part owned by Fletcher from Pennywise. So this studio does a lot of really cool like South Bay punk stuff.
They know how to record the hard hitting shit.
Yeah. Basically. Well, I think Ian, based on Ian's last name, but he was a huge producer, musician from that scene. And that was he's passed away, unfortunately, but that was a huge cornerstone for that kind of punk community over there. So it's always kind of cool to like have these random little like things like that. And mix and mastering was done in Connecticut at Dexter's Lab by our buddy Nick Belmore, and Nick does stuff for Hatebreed and fucking all sorts of other cool shit. The new D. Snyder stuff, because that new D. Snyder record, I don't know if you've heard it or if you're a huge D. Snyder fan, but like the production, like it sounds so big, it's huge. So it came out so rad. I'm so stoked for everyone to hear it.
Oh yeah, D. Snyder is that type of musician that you can't not like. Like I've loved, Snyder when my mom would just tell me, "Why are you listening to this shit?"
Well, that
it's
makes
so bad, and it's like
better.
I'm like, "Mom, like this is the shit right here." Like, and then I would move on to like Whitesnake or something, and my mom would be like, "It's getting worse." And then I showed her Quiet Riot, and then that was it. My mom was like, "You're grounded." So, but it's, you get to work with all these great guys and stuff. You didn't get to work with Bill, right? The producer. I can't.
Yeah, no, hell yeah, we did. We recorded at his house. Oh, yeah.
I didn't know if
Many a beers with Bill Matoyer.
How do you pronounce his last name?
Matoyer.
I see. I was way off. So working with Bill Matoyer and Ulrich Wild and all these guys, you've got. I didn't even know about the mic thing. That's fucking amazing. That Devil Driver is probably one of my just favorite bands because they play.
Dude, they're dope.
But and that's the thing too is I go to Aftershock every year, right? And and Devil Driver, I don't think, unless I missed them for some chance, they've never played. And I'm like, you guys need to get this fucking band in here because they're the most.
They go over really well.
Well, to me, they're the most popular, unpopular band. I don't think they get the recognition they deserve. They should be, way bigger than most of the big bands out there. But that, just opinion. And what did you think, like, when you got to, like, meet these guys and just, like, sit down with them?
It's total imposter syndrome. It's like, you're not supposed to be there, but, obviously you got in the door, so just do what you came to do, man. Somebody either agreed to let you play bass in their house or their studio, or somebody wants you to do it. Yeah. So, you just got to go for it, man, because you got to be confident in your ability, because otherwise you're just gonna hinder yourself, and that's a big thing, is like getting out of your own fucking way.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I mean, you just it's definitely, I don't know so much as like starstruck as it is like you just don't. It's more like, oh, I don't want to fuck up in front of everybody. It's more like one of those things as like, but like of course you're starstruck because you're in the middle of it and you're realizing like who Bill's recorded, who's Ulrich's recorded, where Mike's been. It's all just madness. And Nick Belmore too. Like he's just a trip because we know him through our buddy Joey, who played drums on this current Void Vator record. Because Armand, he moved to London like at this point, like almost 2 years, I guess, and that was because of some visa shit. Like, so total bummer, but he's killing it out there. I know him and his wife are, living it up out there. And so Joey, who we met from playing on tour, he's filled in with us the tour we were on before everything went to shit, and then on this last record. So but that's how we got hooked up with Nick, was through Joey. So that kind of connection of like, here's a friend like who's just like another dude sweating it out in the van. Yeah. And like he, everybody, like it's almost like 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, but it's like these metal musicians that you just meet, like. So that's like my favorite part, is being like, wait, you have this mutual friend, and they're like, oh, fuck that guy, or which is just like, I love that guy. Yeah. So it's always kind of dope to like have something besides like, I really like the new riff on Nest of Vipers, or you know what I mean, like some shit like that, where you're just like totally fanboying out if you can kind of like, I don't know. I just try to make them laugh. And that seems to break the ice a little bit,
definitely. The comedy definitely helps a lot of things. So, but honestly, in my opinion, I can see, myself in 10 years, hopefully, still doing this, interviewing a band and going, oh my God, I met Void Vator. And I'll be like, hey, well, guess what? I feel like Void Vator is definitely set apart. I know, and a lot of people, I get sometimes messages, people say, oh, you talk up your musicians too much. Well, I bring people on here that I like, and so, I'm going to talk them up, because
I mean,
like
if
'em.
somebody's gonna watch you to have a very middle of the ground,
Yeah.
Christian Monitor-esque review show, then it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know
Yeah.
what to tell you, bro.
Yeah.
This,
No,
you know,
who
you dig
invites?
heavy shit, so
Yeah, and that's the thing too is I'm a connoisseur of many genres and stuff, and but for some reason, man, I've had your guys' album. I drive bus for special ed for a living,
oh,
and
good for you, bro.
thank you. And right now, with school being out in this area, they're not in school. So what we do is we basically deliver their work to them, on a daily basis. And the last like week and a half, man, I've had to, because I'm out there about 4 hours. I have to at least listen to one album from
My
you
man,
guys. And
it's good driving music.
dude, it is. And I don't, and that's where I keep going back. Like you explained the energy. I still can't explain the feeling that I get as a listener listening to it. And I think that's like the main thing a band should strive for is for
Yeah.
their listener to be like, fuck, this is good.
You get that performance that we're putting in that studio, man.
Yes.
You're just like you're doing it and you're just like, I can't fucking wait to play this shit live. And so that's what you're trying to get is like I know Cliff used to stand up and walk around the room when he was playing, and so I don't go like that nuts, but sometimes I'll stand and just like rock out a little bit. But if I go too nuts and I start fucking up and it's no good. But you gotta that's what you're capturing is like a moment in time, some sort of performance, and that energy. That's all it is like energy that you get from like these sound waves. Like it's a total trip. Like it's so music is like such a crazy thing. Like even just on like a sonically, like I could talk about that shit too. Like, life happens at about like 120 beats per minute. Like it's crazy,
Yeah. And that's the thing about, like you said, music is in every single person on this planet. It's in their life, no matter how it is. Even if you're just sitting in a room your whole entire life, you don't hear anything. You're hearing your heartbeat. You're gonna feel something. Music is always in everybody's life. So
I think it's everything.
It is.
I think it's everything.
Yeah, it's just this mathematical equation that
I think that's what it's all about. Yep. It's all about music. Not everybody's just figured it out yet.
Yep, exactly. So you guys have been through a lot. You guys have gone through a few changes, member wise and stuff like that. Your musical journey had a deliberate direction, I guess, when you first start out. Everybody does, but did it? I feel like it did, but did it evolve like to where you guys are now? Like, do you feel like it's evolved a lot from the first record to now?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like you were saying, as far as like lineup changes, like even just that alone in comparison to the first one, there's 2 new guys, but everybody, more has happened in the world. We've all been through more stuff. You're exposed to more stuff. We're more established as a band, I feel, because we've done more touring and we've just been through more, like that's I feel we haven't earned all of our stripes, but I feel like we're starting to earn them, like 100%. There's been an evolution, especially as Void Vator,
Yeah. The thing is too is your genre, like I said, to me it's like 80s meets, and you said 80s meets 90s meets, for me it's like a modern 80s. It's coming back, and I'm so excited for it because for a while there, metal was nothing but screaming, which I like. I like the heavier the better for me. I really love extreme metal. I love a lot of stuff like that, but sometimes you need that that 80s fucking kick-ass just rock and roll.
Everybody's got a party again when they listen to a rock show, man.
Yeah.
That's and I'm glad you picked that up, because 100% that's how we feel about it. I love Black Dahlia Murder. I think Mac's a really good bass player, and Alan's I could talk forever about that, man. Rivers and Nile on Metal Blade, super dope.
Oh my god, Rivers and Nile. Woo.
But not everybody hears the word metal now and they get freaked out because as far as like, mainstream consumer, because they think that it's like this disgusting blah, blah, blah. And it don't help that like, I'm just going to say it. You've got like TMZ-esque publications that like paint these pictures of metal musicians as being bad people, which yes, there are. But that don't do any good for, I don't know. I guess it depends how you're trying to look at it. Because, like, you know, if you want the mainstream consumers to stay the fuck away, then I guess we're doing a pretty good job at it. But also, I want to be like fucking Van Halen and play an Us Festival type show, and like, you know, your mama don't know whether to listen to us or then to like flirt with us. You know, like it's only supposed to be fun, man.
Yeah,
Like
it's
you're
supposed to
supposed
be.
to. The goal is like you come to a Void Vator show and you're either gonna get laid, you're gonna get drunk, or I don't know, maybe both. It's supposed to be a good time, and I feel like that's missing
Mm-hmm.
in rock and heavy metal, and uh, you know, everybody's pretty down with. You know, like I got no issue. Like Murs and DJ Fresh just put out a new album, and just like this whole like, which is that's different from like this mumble rap shit, but like everybody sees that and they're like, "Yo, that's dope." Like
Yeah.
fucking, you know, Logan Paul, fucking all that kind of shit. Like everybody's like, "That's sick," and it's like, is it though? Like,
It's just a trend.
Come to a rock show and do the same shit. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
The thing is, and everybody knows, you know, the human race is very. We
There's a place
thrive
for
on
all of it.
trend.
Like everybody wants to like draw this like line in the sand about, I don't know, like it can all kind of coexist peacefully because
It
I don't know
definitely
about
could.
peacefully, but it all used to coexist. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like Van Halen was still going down, and so was Kool and the Gang. And in fact, Van Halen was playing Kool and the Gang songs when they were coming up. And then even like Metallica, and then I don't know, like Eric B. Rock and Run DMC, like it all was kind of existing.
Yeah. Look at
But it's
Lincoln
everything's
Park
so
and
politicized, and it's just different now, man.
yeah.
So we're just trying to bring it back and show that like rock and roll can still be bad and still be fun, and you know, like
Yeah, it definitely gets a bad rap, and you know, speaking of rap gets a bad rap as well. You know, I've got a couple musicians that came on here that are rappers and stuff, and great fucking people. Like,
dude,
and
I would love
they
to lay some heavy bass on like some hip hop shit right now.
yeah, see, and that's the thing is a lot of people think that rap and metal, like none of this can, like, if a person that listens to metal can't be friends with a person that listens to rap and all this. No, you got to blow that shit out of the water. We're all fucking humans. We're all, you know, like it's just our taste. It's all it is. It's not like I'm gonna go up to somebody and go, "Hey, you're a country artist, and I think you sound like shit." Because country is shit. You know, I'm not gonna.
Well,
do
that would just make you a bad person. That
It
would
would.
suck if you did stuff like that.
Yeah.
If
Why
anybody
shit on
does
other
stuff like
people's
that.
stuff? Why do that? And that's what mainstream media does, is they shit on everybody that isn't mainstream. And
And I think the fact that they're not willing to take it as far as mainstream media, not as far as like a news source, but you know, modern labels and modern, you know, whoever's in charge, gatekeepers or whatever, like they're not willing to take a chance on like new rock bands because it's been such like one way and it's been so calculated to work this way for so long that the sheer thought of them investing in something new and fresh is like no, because there's a chance they won't be in control. I think that's a bigger problem than anything,
yeah,
because
it
there's
is.
lots of new hip hop, lots of new alternative music, you know, that's getting pushed to the forefront, which is like dope. You know, Miley Cyrus and Machine Gun Kelly getting thrown on the rock chart. That's, whether you like it or not, that's an example of somebody, I mean, not really taking a chance because Miley's very established and
Yeah.
MGK is a little bit as well, but it's just, it goes to show that if these fucking motherfuckers are shown something that they're supposed to like, then they're going to like it. So I
Yeah.
wish the rock world would just shove it down their throat, because that's what everybody else does.
Yeah, and you know what though? At the same time, I absolutely agree with you, but at the same time, I think that rock and roll and underground hip hop rules the fucking underground scene. And
I would agree with that 100%.
I feel that you will get more fans and more pure fans, not fake shit that will say that will only either illegally, which it's really hard to illegally download music anymore. I mean, people still do it. I don't know why, but
You got to go out of your way. You have
Yeah,
to like literally be like, I'm not gonna pay for it.
yeah, and you have to like not get listen to an ad or something on Spotify. I mean, like everybody can listen to everything now. But what I'm saying is underground music has the best fans, has
100%.
the best people, because none of us are driven by money, and I feel like the industry is, you know, clout, money, all in one. That's all they focus on. And it's not about that. You know, I go to a show with an underground band and I get a pure show. I get such a great one-on-one. It almost feels one-on-one connection because it's just a different feeling. And then when you go to a mainstream band, and I hate saying this, but the last time I saw Metallica, it felt stale. It felt just not them. You know, back to when in early 2000s, early 90s, when my dad, you know, took me to see Metallica for the first time, and it was fucking amazing. Mainstream media changes people, and it does it for the worse, in my opinion. But I think the underground scene is super strong right now.
Well, 100%. It has to be, because otherwise we're all gonna go to rat shit. You know, Live Nation is calling for help, so it's like we're going. You know, the only way we're gonna get through it is together. Yeah. And you know, Void Vator's grown in like every band I've been a part of, it's always been underground. Like I don't even really know like when you consider yourself to be mainstream. Like, but that's just, we were just talking about like how rock and metal can like come into this forefront of like people just kind of like realizing that it's, and that's what I feel like that's the only reason I brought it up, was just because like there's these people that are just like they kind of holding it down, you know. Yeah, definitely. But that's fine. It ain't for them, it's for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So, being such a high energy band, when you guys perform live and everything, it doesn't seem like it, but do you guys experience like any like performance anxiety or anything like that?
Not so much. I mean, I'm always a little nervous before I get on, but that's because I like it that way. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a different type of feeling.
Performance, not too much performance anxiety, only because, you know, we try to drill the set hard so that it's like tight before we get on the road, and then after 3 or 4 shows on the road, then it's like butthole tight. But I don't think you care if you don't get a little bit nervous before a gig.
Yeah.
You know definitely. What I mean? And performance anxiety doesn't necessarily, anxiety is different for a lot of different people. It don't mean that like right before I go on stage the whole world is coming down around me, but and I totally commend people that like, if that's how it is before you get on stage and you're still able to get on shred, like good for you, man, because that shit's hard. I just feel a little like there's something going on for sure. Yeah. I guess it's got to be some sort of anxiety.
Yeah, definitely. And the only reason why I ask that is because, you know, we live in a day and age right now where most people are going through some sort of depression or anxiety. It seems like it's more on the forefront now, more in everybody's faces now. Nobody's afraid to admit it.
More comfortable talking about it, which I think is cool.
I think it's amazing. I think, you know, it's the best outlet for people. And then music also, like when I listen to your guys's, like for example, if I listen to your guys's album, I don't feel fucking anxiety. I don't feel fucking depression. I don't feel nothing like that. You know what I feel? I feel like fucking drinking a beer and fucking going to a show.
Well, it's simple as that. That was written by those types of dudes. Yeah, you know what I mean? But so, you listen to some you know, some songwriters, that shit comes out and it's like that's exactly what you need for that type of shit. So
yeah, definitely.
So if you want to drink a beer and drive fast, listen to some Void Vator. If you're like, you know, if it's real tough, maybe don't listen to us, or maybe do it anyway because it'll get you. You know, it
gets you out of it. Works. To me, medicine. I mean, medicine. Music is medicine, I guess. You know, so definitely people that are listening and watching, you need to take that. You know, I'd rather listen to an album or listen to multiple albums than take a fucking anxiety pill. That's just my, you know, my opinion. I don't want to feel like a fucking zombie, which most of that people that, you know, take that shit, they do. So I instead put on a fucking Void Vator song, or put on, you know, anything. Put on, if you're into fucking Hammerfall, put on Hammerfall. You know, it doesn't matter. So we talked a little bit about the, you know, your guys' energy. We talked a little bit about everything, and what I want to ask is for people that are, you know, Void Vator fans themselves, what is your guys' creative process like?
Lucas for sure is like the main songwriter, but typically if we're writing, Lucas will come with a riff, or I mean Eric and Lucas both, they're like demoing stuff all the time. Not so much right now just because Lucas is working pretty heavy and Eric's actually in Milwaukee right now, but they'll come, you know, we'll get an email and it's like, here's a verse and a chorus, or here's an intro riff, or whatever. And so it kind of starts with either that, getting like an email and being like, hey, we're going to work on this next rehearsal. So whether you learn it or not, that's just what we start working on. And then it just kind of builds from there. So we'll, sometimes it's a full song that's already done. And then when we all get together, we'll cut stuff or add stuff, or it's up to a certain point. It's a pretty collaborative effort.
Nice.
I'm not like the best songwriter, and I'm always working. That's not, you gotta do it a lot. And I guess I haven't done it enough, but that's why I'm in a band with Eric and Lucas. So the good, I'm one of those dudes that I guess seems to be a catalyst for the good ideas, just because like bass is like a different thing too.
Yeah.
And you talk about high energy and shit. And so I always try to like view riffs and view songs, like how you can bring it to like the live setting, and like what's going to be like real powerful or impactful and shit like that. So
nice. That's actually a really interesting way of writing, though, because I don't think I've ever heard anybody else say that. Any band that's come on, they don't normally say, oh, we picture playing it live. It kind of gets pushed back, because now when you write something without picturing playing it live, and then you go to play it live, what if it's so fucking difficult? And now you just have to stand still, and do this solo, or, you have no performance. So that's actually pretty good.
It could be too technical, or, even the tour we did in March, before everything got shut down, we were all hyped to play this new song called Infierno, and it just didn't translate live. Like, we thought it was dope, and it just didn't translate. So then it's back to the drawing board. What can we do to change this for the live setting? As like the recording's fine, like that's fine. So then sometimes you got to take spice it up for the live setting, you know what I mean? Like bands like Metallica do shit like that all the time. I'm trying to think, like, right off the top of my head, Pantera was really good at stuff like that. Like just sometimes you gotta, it's just, and that's all part of the show. Like if that's the kind of band you want to be, is like I feel like Void Vator's for sure, like our bread and butter is like touring, and like we were just talking about how you want to come to the show and party. So then you got to find ways to translate the record to the live setting. But if you're just going to be, a regular, if you just want to play the songs and that's it, then that's fine too. But like then you're known as that band that they just play it. They played it right like the record, exactly like the record. It was great, but that was, that was it, Yeah. And I've never wanted to be one of those bands. I've always wanted to like, something that's like, oh, Sam, here comes the part where Sam's head looks like it's gonna fall off, or here's the part where Lucas is shredding so hard that it's just like, it's just,
where's his
fingers? Can't wait to hear Eric sing, all sorts of shit.
Now you bring up a good point. I'm a huge fan of Animals as leaders. I think musician wise they're fucking phenomenal. I don't, I've never really looked into how they are as people, but as musicians they're fucking amazing. But live, it's kind of boring, because
you're either a gent head or you're not. That's one that's just like this the whole time.
The whole thing you're just like, nice, which is great, because it's great because you're listening to some good tunes that I'm not taking that from them, but that's not what I want from a show. What I want from a show is, oh fuck, behind me there's this huge ass fucking pit, or is somebody gonna do a wall of death here? I mean, let's do this, like,
who's jumping off the stage, who's gonna lift me up.
Definitely. So that's awesome that you guys think of that, and that's definitely in your creative process. So I'm not gonna keep you too much longer. I
got nothing to do today, man. We can talk however long you want.
Oh, okay, good. So I got at least two more things to ask. The first one's kind of off script. People also ask, this is kind of for the listeners and the people that are watching. I do write down my questions beforehand. That's why you see my face coming over here. I have 3 screens set up, so it's like, I just want to make sure, everything's good and everything. But sometimes I do go off script. And what I want to ask off script, from a bass player to a bass player, what is your favorite fucking thing to play, like, that you own?
Well, I've got my favorite to play is my Fender Precision bass. Only because it's like a Frankenstein. It actually has the neck from that Squier that I was telling you about that I learned to play on. It actually has like the first neck that I ever played on it. So it's a Squier neck, but I took like some steel wool and sanded off the Squier logo, so it's just, you can't see what it is. But the neck plays like butter, and Lucas helped me put some Seymour Duncans in it. It doesn't have a PJ setup. It's just got the regular precision setup. I put a new bridge in there, and my girlfriend was digging through, I don't know, she had like a bunch of like random like chrome plated stuff that I think her pops had given her, and one of the things was like a pickup cover. So I just took some wood screws and just like drilled that shit in. So it totally looks like Darth Vader or some shit when I play it. My jazz bass sounds better, but I feel like the biggest rock star on planet Earth when I play it, just because it's heavy and I have to beat the fuck out of it. So I know that like I look like a ape when I'm playing it because I have to play it so hard.
Yeah, jazz, especially like the Fender jazz basses and stuff like that. They're extremely heavy, extremely just bulky basses, but they have like some of the best tones.
It's my favorite shit, man. That's pretty much what I play exclusively. Those are the only basses I own are precision basses and jazz basses.
I started out on Fender and everything like that, but then I started doing stuff my own way, like kind of like how you did the Frankenstein. So I have my Rogue back here, which Rogue is known for probably the best starter bass for people. I agree. I think they're stock wise, they're shit.
That's a pretty long ass neck, dude. Is that like 24 frets or what?
Yeah, it is actually.
Dang.
And all inlays, custom done, everything on them.
That's sick.
Everything on it, and it's great. But I think I think I want to go back to the fucking jazz bass, man, because it's just,
dude,
it's just
you
different.
Always come back to it.
Yeah. It's just
I'm just
different.
glad I haven't sold it. I'm just glad I never,
Yeah, I ended up selling it to pick up my PRS, and I don't play guitar. I don't even know why. Why buy an expensive ass guitar and you don't even play it? So it's there.
Right on.
So, but that's awesome, man. That was just kind of for me to get a little information from you on that.
What head or what amp do you have that you run that bass through?
Ampeg. It's
nice.
I'm switching though. I'm probably gonna go with the newer Orange is coming out with the new bass with the new with
Terror.
the mini head. Yeah,
the mini Terror. Those are dope.
Yeah, I'm looking at it because
I've used one of those at the Viper Room and was like totally impressed with like, what the fuck, seriously?
Yeah, it's pretty loud.
I think that little ass head is still like 500 watts, right?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It packs a big punch and it's I think it's analog too, so you could plug it in and everything too. I believe so you can go straight into your computer as well. But I don't know.
Oh, it's got like a DI deal. Wow, yeah. So you can use it like almost like not like an interface, but like a preamp for something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
That's pretty sweet.
And I don't know, I'm kind of downsizing because this is like, I never thought the podcast would take off as fast as it is. And,
well, good, dude.
And yeah, I'm very grateful. I'm absolutely grateful to have bands like you guys come on and stuff, especially because I get to talk to bands right before their takeoff, and I feel that you guys are about to fucking go.
Well, let's hope so, dude.
Oh, I
want to rock.
Yeah, dude, I have nothing but high hopes. Once everything's lifted and we can go back to being regular, humans, I feel like the shows are just going to be fucked. It's 2021 is going to be off the hook if we're allowed to play shows.
We got some shit booked already. We actually got to play in Arizona last month.
How was that? Being that,
dude, it's like the Wild West out there, man. They don't care about nothing.
Oh, okay.
Which is like,
yeah,
But I'll tell you what, treated like rock stars. I got to go to the jacuzzi and smoke a joint in the morning. Hotels and it was great. It was honest. Like, it feels shitty it doesn't feel shitty to say that at all, but yeah, we got stuff in Arizona.
You can't fucking be ashamed of that though, dude, because you guys
but that's the thing. Everybody makes you feel like you're a shitty person for, you know what I mean? So
that's when you just go, fuck you. Fuck you.
I guess that's what it is, man. Fuck. But so we got more stuff in Arizona at the end of January. We're supposed to play in Idaho in April, and we might be doing something in Fresno with Haunt in May. So I know that's a little bit closer to you.
That's you're going to be doing it at Strummer's, huh?
That's usually where we've played. I don't know if it's going to be some sort of outdoor thing though, because of this is all pretty preliminary too. I'm not even sure if Trevor like knows all the
Oh
details
shit.
either, but love those dudes. You know, we've played Strummers. Trevor calls Fresno Frez Yes.
Yeah.
So I like that, Frez Yes, playing Strummers and Frez Yes. We played there with Haunt and Fortress, which is another dope band from down here. Chris, the lead singer of Fortress, his brother Cody plays bass in Ex Mortis. So it's like
Oh,
this
nice.
it's this whole incestual metal family.
Oh,
So
shit.
we got stuff booked, man. You know, like,
Well, if the one in Fresno definitely comes to fruition, I'll be there, man. I definitely
hell
will
yeah.
be there.
No, we'll stay in touch for sure, bro. I'll keep you updated.
I'd love to come see you guys, especially Haunt. Shit, dude, you guys, that's a good, duo.
Dude,
It's
we only did 3 days and it was so fun.
Oh yeah, I bet that. And oh man, I'm excited for next year though. That's all I can say on that. So man, I've had you. I'm taking up, your time today. I know you said you're free. So that's awesome. But I just want to say before we go, man, thank you so much again for
Absolutely.
coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely get in the future, maybe after the album's out, get you guys all on, and then we can, everybody can see the whole band too as well.
Yeah. We're supposed to have a music video coming out before the record too, so I don't know if Lucas or Eric maybe want to hop on and talk about that, because we just released one about a week ago, 2 weeks, I guess at this point.
Mm-hmm.
For I Can't Take It. So everybody listening, head over to YouTube,
Yes.
Void Vator, subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
Follow us on Bandcamp. Everywhere online, Instagram at Void Vator, Twitter at Void Vator, Facebook at Void Vator. It's all,
Definitely.
The good thing about the band name is there's not a lot of bands with V's, so it pops up pretty quick.
Yeah, and it's definitely worth your time, guys. Like, you take the time out of your day, even if you're into just death metal or something. Just take your time and listen to the album, because it's fucking brilliant. From start to finish, Stranded is fucking brilliant. And if you want to go back, see right there. I got to get my hands on one, man. I got to get my hands. And I know that you guys have them on Instagram. You can get to your merch and everything like that, right?
Yeah. I'll send you a link.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I got to get my hands on that.
Dehumanize. We just got these, dude. We got it on cassette.
I've been thinking.
This is like Wu-Tang Killer Bees, dude. Yellow tape and everything. Hell yeah.
I've been thinking about switching from, because vinyl is very, it's great and all. It's a little expensive for most people.
Yeah.
But it looks amazing, when you have it set up and everything like that. Right now I'm in an apartment, so I can't have any of my shit set up, but it's the cassette though. I was surprised to see it come back, and when it came back with just this fucking power to it too, because
I think people that want to buy physical merch are going to buy it. So, You know what I mean? I don't think tapes are outselling CDs the way vinyl did last year for the first time since I lost you for a second.
No, you're good. You're good.
I don't think tapes are outselling vinyl like they did last year for the first time since like 1986 or something. But it's just a testament, like we were talking about, to the underground, where like there's this niche for rap and metal bands and rock bands and whatever, where like if people are gonna go to those shows and support that type of music, they're also gonna buy quirky fucking cassettes in 2020, because that's just like dude, I got my record player right here.
Nice.
It actually has Temptations on it right now, but then this tape deck was my dad's. I've had it forever. That's got the Ex Mortis Swallow Your Soul cassette in there right now. It's just cool. I just like collecting shit. My house is like a fucking, not a house. I live in like a literal like studio, but it's just like a museum, man. There's shit everywhere. I just think that shit's cool.
Yeah, I would definitely have my house looking exactly like yours right now. My fiance though, she likes it. She's like, I don't know if you want to put all that stuff up right now.
Definitely, my girlfriend tries to like. She definitely tells me what I should do, and that's the contingency is.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want
it. But she's the master of space. So.
Yeah, definitely. If I had everything up that I own, honestly, I probably wouldn't even be able to walk in this fucking place. So I'm actually kind of grateful.
You start stepping on skateboards and shit.
Exactly. So you put your plug in there, man. So definitely, guys, if you want to check them out, please do. He just told you exactly where to find Void Vator. You can find them on every major distribution site, especially, you know, Spotify, Apple Music. If you want to listen to Dehumanize first, do it because it's fucking good. But in my opinion, Stranded is probably the most hard-hitting, definitive album that they've got. I just absolutely love it. But every single track they've thrown down is fucking amazing. So that being said, man, Sam, thank you so much for coming on. And
Thank you, Justin.
yeah, until next episode, guys, we'll see you guys later.
Thanks, brother.
I can't